Yo! So we had to do this right. So in Port of Spain, right now as we speak, today is July the 20th. Sun is blistering hot. But in the east, rain is dreadfully falling until I had to stop in one of the little shops to shelter. I think this is the same thing that happens simultaneously in institutions in Trinidad and Tobago. Exactly 4 weeks ago, I made one letter which was 7 pages long. And then when you typed it out, it came to 4 pages. I made this letter not in triplicate, but quadruplicate. And what happening right now? Yo, B. What happening right now? I dropped this off in 4 establishments. One is licensing office. One is the PCA. One is the Office of the Minister of Aviation and Transport. And the last one is to the master, a certain master whose name I shall not mention right now. What's interesting about that is why highlighting this, I wanted to understand something. You wouldn't believe the first person that addressed the correspondence was the PCA. And I never expected that. If the PCA was the first person to respond, and it's in regarding a matter dealing with licensing office and furthermore corrupt police officers, it's kind of interesting when the head, as in the transport commissioner, did not get that correspondence as yet, and it was dropped in 4 weeks ago. Don't you find that very peculiar? Right, so with that being said, it's interesting also. There's a word in the English dictionary I always found was rather interesting. Rather. Yes, it's called purview. So government offices and certain institutions in Trinidad and Tobago remember the purview of what they have responsibility over and don't have responsibility over. It's nice while I'm saying that the sun is coming out now. So you're getting that after the rain smell. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. So why I'm highlighting this now? Why is it the Commissioner of Transport did not get my correspondence and our office, which is the Police Complaints Authority, already addressed me and said that their purview cannot facilitate the situation that I'm going through? But I'll tell you this, if a police officer or a licensing officer gives you a ticket, you have 15 days to contest. When you do contest it, you have 2.5 years before you go to court for the ticket. Make it make sense, Trinidad and Tobago. So with that being said, if you can amend laws at 1:37 a.m. in the morning, why cannot you amend laws to help the public in dealing with ticket offenses? Asking for a stupid 1.4 million friends. Now, with that being said, exactly as we speak, 1% of the population of Trinidad and Tobago cannot drive. Do you also know we have Spanish and Asian nationals that cannot speak English that have fully awarded great and legitimate driver's permits in Trinidad and Tobago? Yeah, I just say I should tell you that. Other than that also, being that today there's some special preference to hurt the public driving wise, I saw something happen in front of me. And the worst thing about that happening in front of me is that the officer nearly bounced me down while doing the illegal action. Let a civilian do this. Do you know what would happen? On Shacon Street corner, an officer turned left and went straight up the corner into a parking lot, nearly hitting a civilian vehicle also. And if you think I'm lying, I have the footage on my phone. I like when days like this happen. Also, yeah, so there's Shacon Street. Police officers and them just turned straight up the street going up here. So I'm trying to understand. Especially to go in a parking lot. Yeah, real interesting. You know what's interesting? That nobody could get the Martin taxi here. And right now what's going on, I see in 3 vehicles belonging to the TTPS, and furthermore, just a few seconds ago, one nearly bounced me down, went up the road and parked in a parking lot on a wrong way. If you think I'm lying, just observe what I'm going to show you. The victimization from police officers. When will it stop, Mr. David West? When will the PSB now have a real leader also? Furthermore, because remember, The last time this happened, Suzette Martin bounced down a civilian, made his leg nearly disappear. I think he's dead, but they wouldn't tell the public that. And then they interacted with the officer, not the boy's family, with the officer, and she begged for forgiveness and pretended like nothing happened. And guess what? Our DPP office granted her Section 137 to shut your fucking mouth. I'm not stuttering. This is what literally happened. This is the nation we live in. Tell me it's fair. Or is it fear? No. There's two different words I mentioned there. So now, FEAR is one. FAIR is two. We all know that the police service, along with licensing officers, have been instilling fear, and you know which one I'm referring to, in people for the past 3 decades. Think I'm lying? Hey, Mr. Reyes, how you going? You good? Yeah, that's one. Two, it's very interesting. Plenty of these things that are going on in licensing office are not fear, FAIR, to a lot of people. So it's very interesting when a certain Mercedes-Benz, we're talking about number 63, and then furthermore, a certain Lexus, number 92. I don't need to call names. It's nice to have a photographic memory and no illegal activities when it happens. So when somebody gives you correspondence and the head of a division doesn't get your correspondence, it's kind of ticklish when the PCA responds via email quickly. So let me know this. Who is totally stopping correspondence of the public towards the big man? Right. With the words of the big man himself, 12 people have been suspended from licensing office thus far. But still, a correspondence like mine's and interactions with illegal tickets and stuff, officers get off the hook and still are employed. Tell me, how fair is this? Once again, Trinidad and Tobago, listen very well. 1% of the driving population cannot drive. And with what I just mentioned to you all, I will reiterate the point again. If you get a ticket, you have 15 days to contest it. When you contest it, you have to wait 2.5 years to go to court for it because you contested it. Tell me if that's not fair. Or is it fair in what is transpiring? What's also interesting, it has a fair amount of people that really need their license to be productive in this Trinidad and Tobago. And right now, because of the denial of certain things, have you realized that people who work in the legal system definitely close their ears to situations occurring? Well, guess what? Deep Voice Banton was the person who ran the investigation upon a certain person who raped a boy. And 2 things I asked him. It's very, very simple. Tell me the 2 officers who were involved in not taking the report in the Canopia station. That is one. Also, tell me, I repeat, tell me the names of the 2 individuals who you say put you up to make you look bad in the public. I'm still waiting. Other than that, also public, I'm saying this publicly also. The name of the person and the number given of the claimed investigative officer, which is a W, sergeant, was wrong. The number, yeah, it was wrong. Other than that also, when I call the police station that he gave me the number for and calling the extension also, you can't get onto it. What am I to believe from this individual? And to this day, he has not come out and said he did not do it. This is the type of horseshit that is going on in Trinidad and Tobago, and we're supposed to tolerate. So now, when you have individuals who literally are dying because they finance a certain political regime, these are the individuals that you want to call your leaders, asking for 1.4 million people once again. I am sick, tired, fed up of people stating the facts and nobody's listening to them. I am sick and fed up of a blatant, stinking racist call Philip Alexander doing things to people, and Kamala Persad-Bissessar is literally turning a blind eye. The latest situation that's occurring in the plannings, I'll ask you all this. Do you all remember the Rasta lady that was assaulted by a police officer and she has a medical to prove it? What has happened out of this? Right. This is because she said nobody's getting jobs in CPEP no more because all they're hiring all their friends. So Trinidad and Tobago, don't you know about some wing roads and some axios cutting yard or doing road work in the middle of the night and stuff? And now they too are getting not handle their salaries, yet still the manager of the regional corporation, the minister, in fact, went Japan with her son and nobody could get paid who cutting grass now, and where are the 5,000 jobs that she created? The lies need to stop, not forthcoming as usual. This is not what we are hired for. This is definitely not what you were hired for, ma'am, an individual. Raping little boys is not fun, yeah. Raping little boys could never be fun. But here it is. You have officers who literally covering up situations that occurred for a government minister. And yet still, we have drunk homosexuals giving contracts to his friends and family. This is Trinidad that we love. I'm making it short and very precise because I'm fed up and people fed up on the TTPS and lies. Right now, we need to take back our country. So what is going on, Mr. Bascom? Remember all those lovely interviews? I want you to go once again. You were working under Jackie at the point in time. Do you remember Mr. Roger Alexander when Marlon stopped him the Wednesday and asked him, but how come you call certain people names and within 2 days they're dead? Remember that? Yeah. I try to be factual as possible. I don't do like homosexuals with white glasses and lie to the public. And with that being said, how could you lie to the public and say you don't know anything about a kidnapping when the woman who did the kidnapping, her big sister is your best friend? The woman's vagina was hurt. The woman's mental is totally shot to shit. She was kidnapped. And this is who you are encouraging. Listen to this, Trinidad and Tobago. This is who you are encouraging chicken to be purchased from the person who is your underling. Right, so you see this guy who makes equally as much videos as myself, but has sponsorship. Yes, we're talking about the church, man. We're very serious about this right now because I'm sticking on business. I realize Trinidad and Tobago not realizing the type of shit that's really going on. It's so degrading, not interesting, that entertainment is different to news reporting. And with that being said, people need to understand something. I don't use entertainment in any format to make anything happen. What is going on right now, people need to understand. Trinidad and Tobago, put your fucking foot down. Homosexuality, molestation, raping of boys, lesbianism, degrading someone's ethnicity, and then furthermore degrading someone's religion. These are not movements of leaders. I put my foot down for many reasons. And you see this type of horseshit, you all are gaining a salary for doing nothing. So Trinidad and Tobago, ask Kamala Persad-Bissessar, why are the people that finance her regime dying one by one? And other than that also, why has she not done a literal press conference stating on all the situations that are going on with children who are dying suddenly in Trinidad and Tobago? And last time I also checked, if you don't see about the children, what is the future generation? It's very interesting, isn't it? I leave you with more than food for thought, but food to act. Today is the 20th, the day after. And furthermore, we have more beta males in Trinidad and Tobago than Subway sandwiches being sold. And trust me, a lot of Subway sandwiches being sold. So guys who make cookies and stuff and selling for $500, which one is more important? That somebody literally slander somebody you name with no evidence and stuff and nearly tried to make a company get toppled because she wants her friends with another water company to get contracts. Yeah, this is the level of stupidity we've reached to. And furthermore, what's interesting, just like how my headphones fall out, a lot of people fall out with people and think people not observing what's going on in the San Fernando and Superior corporations. Favoritism, cronyism, nepotism, and racialism definitely seems to be playing an ultimate hand. So Adrian Imbert got the same treatment as John Jeremy's son. $50,000 jobs, right? And Trinidad is going through hardship. The most, as in the demographic of 18 to 32 years old, is who getting jobs. And like Kamala said, menial jobs is what's going on. She made nothing happen for the people who educated. I'm observing everything. So Star Sabga stated the truth, but you have infidels that saying it's a racist rant. Get your fucking ears open. Kamala called herself a coolie. And then she said, as she said, the woman called herself a coolie and thing, and look at what she's doing. Furthermore, spending $5.6 million to hold somebody in jail when you can't hold them is one of the most embarrassing things in the world. So with that being said, when people go in for a COC, Do you trust the police service? Remember, they are the ones who killed my friend Satchel. And then they are also the ones who were in defense of the horseshit that they were doing, and Mr. Smith once again. And then furthermore, last but not least, Ian Allen never mentioned to the public that his brother-in-law, the second time the guns went missing, it was while he was literally on duty. You all are fucking believing everything. And last but not least, James, I repeat, James Saunders, how do you feel, sir? Being that I know so much of your family members, and a lot of people are in total shit shock, do you know the things that that man did to people for $1,500 in the past? Don't worry, you'll find out this year, because trust me, the legal actions are going to take notice and hold of his little scrawny homosexual ass this year. When you take $1,500 to bad up somebody's name, and then these people assault people, and yes, once again, no police report was taken, because these people say, nothing going to come out of this. My family is police. Mr. James Saunders, know what side you're on, definitely. If you're on the fussy hole side, not a problem. But also know, if you're on the lying to slander to gain popularity side, it's also an interesting thing. And last but not least, for the second time, do you know any, or have any idea how much Charles I know in Trinidad and Tobago as is? It's very interesting. So, with that being said, as usual, Trinidad and Tobago, I love you guys. Deuces.